Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hello, guys. What's going on? It is, well, by the time you're hearing the show, it's already Wednesday. Welcome back. It's been a week, actually. It's crazy with this new schedule going on. I know I say there's a show every Wednesday, which it is. I'm going to stick to that schedule. I might even just, throw in a second show every other week. Not sure what day. I might do something this Thursday. So, but yeah, the schedule in the meantime is every Wednesday there's a new episode. So there you go. So I just want to thank everybody for the appreciation and for the comments on last week's show when I had Kevin Castle on. That was a lot of fun. Kev he can talk. He can talk. I learned that pretty quick. He's a good talker. I was surprised how me and him kind of hit it off because I see Kevin Castle. It's just there's those glaring differences. He's 15. I'm about to be 30. But we surprisingly had a lot in common. We talked about horror movies, talked about wrestling for a bit. Or not for a bit, for pretty much the majority of the show. So we hit it off. It was a lot of fun, and I'd love to have him back. So I just need to find a way to get him back. And he's a cool dude. He says he wouldn't mind coming back. And then Tuesday I recorded with Kevin. Thursday I recorded an episode with Mitch and Nate for Texas Podcast Massacre, where we reviewed Insidious. That was a lot of fun. After I spent 30 minutes trying to fix my Skype, because we were going to start at 8:30. I called them. They can hear me, but I can't hear them. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So it was kind of a simple. I just had to fix the audio on their end, or on my end. My bad. And I had to switch it from cable output to just microphone. But for whatever reason, Skype wouldn't let me fix it during the phone call. I had to actually hang up and fix it before then. So I don't know. From what I heard, according to Mish, from Soup, Skype is kind of dropping the ball on a lot of things. But that's not something I want to get into because that's not really something I know too much about. But I don't really want to get into that. So yeah, that Texas Podcast Massacre episode. I'm not 100% sure when it'll drop. According to Mitch and Nate, look for that to drop maybe sometime in the beginning of November. They're doing their yearly end schedule. So I'm not too sure how that works. I'm assuming towards the end of the year they'll probably just record all their episodes. Maybe 3 episodes per week, 2 or 3 episodes per week, and then just edit it and then upload it on a certain date. I'm not too sure how that works. That sounds like something I should probably do to kind of save a little time. But I'm pretty hyped for that episode to come out. I can't wait to hear it. It's a lot of fun talking to those dudes. We had a ball. It was really fun. It was a little funny. Can't wait to be back on that show. That's if they want me back. Which they said they'll be glad to have me back. So, what is going on in the world today? I have my notes. What shall we talk about? Well, I guess we can talk about Venom. Venom doesn't. Oh fuck! I'm messing up my words. Venom does not premiere until Friday. Well, technically, it'll appear on Thursday for the pre-show, but it opens nationally on Friday. But they already had their Hollywood premiere yesterday. And a lot of mixed reviews. I mean, that won't stop me from actually watching the movie. But no, let's look at these reviews on Twitter. I'm on HollywoodReporter.com. One review says Tom Hardy's performance in Venom is either Johnny Depp in Parts of the Caribbean, or the first Parts of the Caribbean, or Chris Klein in Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. I never watched that movie, so I'm just going to assume that's maybe a bad thing. But he says either way, it's not boring. So I'm assuming Chris Klein was maybe the bright spot in that movie. I never watched it, so I wouldn't know. Another guy says action sequences and Eddie and Venom's odd relationship are the highlights of Venom, but if Sony wants to move forward with the universe, it needs to just keep the parts of it that work and scrap the large portion that does not. I'll read a couple more. Significant chunks of Venom do not work at all. There is some serious charm to Eddie and Venom relationship, not sure I had the intended reaction to some scenes, but fun is fun, even when it's totally ridiculous, right? It's too bad they didn't go for the R rating, though. I agree. And this is the one that probably caught everyone's eye. Social embargo for Venom is up. I talk about this a lot in my review, but this is a movie that somehow slipped through a wormhole from 2004. That's my biggest take. It's a movie that spilled from the pre-MCU era through a crack in time and space. Yikes. So that's like Daredevil bad. Ugh. I guess I can just go through all of them. There's like 4 more tweets. Venom is a one-man buddy film bonded with an anti-hero origin story, and Tom Hardy pulls it off like only he can. Sorry to say that Venom is pretty much a complete failure. A tonal this guy's trying to say total, but he's saying tonal mess that feels 15 years old, ignoring the storytelling strides the superhero genre has made in recent years. A few fun Venom-centric moments aside, it has nearly nothing to offer. Don't get your hopes up. I'm fascinated with Venom. The cast seems to all know they're in a darker superhero movie, except Tom Hardy, who is basically remaking Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. Hey, Jim Carrey was funny. Or Jim Carrey's Liar Liar was funny. I kind of love watching this movie in a Rocky Horror type of way. At one point, Tom Hardy and Venom make out. Interesting. And lastly, I enjoyed Venom. It reminds me of a 90s Nicolas Cage movie in a sense that it's an Oscar-caliber actor going all in on an outlandish premise at the end result, a highly watchable curiosity. So basically, obviously it's a very mixed bag. You got people that hate it, and you got people that love it, which, that's always going to be the case with some movies. Suicide Squad, I think it's a bag of shit, and it's probably I wouldn't say it's the worst superhero movie I've seen, because there's been some bad ones, but it's just, it's not one of the better ones. I would not ever watch it again. I mean, it had its bright spots, but it was just overall not very good. Venom, I had my doubts, because, the glaring, but pretty much the elephant in the room is that it's supposedly not part of Marvel. It's not a part of the connected Marvel universe. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man. It supposedly doesn't even reference Spider-Man. So how are you going to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? Because that's how Venom becomes Venom, through Spider-Man. If anyone watched the cartoon like me, and if anyone read the comics, the symbiote came from Earth due to Spider-Man. And I might be getting this wrong, so please, if I make one little mistake, correct me. Spider-Man brought over some symbiote from planet whatever, and the symbiote bonded with him, and it got too much for him, so he decided to go to church, because the symbiote was weak to church bells, or to loud noises, I mean. Eddie Brock just happened to be in the same area, and the symbiote bonded with him. There you go. I get most of my information from the cartoon. I read comics. I mean, it's not like I don't read comics, but growing up, I was more of the animated series, I'm going to watch the cartoons, kid. And then as I grew older, I read a lot more comics. So yeah, in the cartoon, he gets the symbiote from space, and he decides to break free from it because it's getting too much for him. And Eddie Brock just happens to be in the same area where Spider-Man is, or Peter Parker is getting the symbiote off of him at the church, and then that's when Eddie Brock is bonded with the suit. So there you go. In this one, I don't know what their origin story is. From the way it looks, they're keeping some parts of his origin story, where the whole outer space alien logistics of it, part of it, where because in the trailer it shows that there's some type of crash outside of wherever the hell Eddie Brock is. I think it's in San Francisco, and this dude Carlton Drake, the main character, he decides to get all this symbiote, symbiote, whatever. I'll say it however the fuck I want. And Eddie Brock breaks into his foundation, and he is attacked by one of the patients that is bonded with the symbiote, and I guess that's how he gets the symbiote. I don't know. Maybe the trailer will be deceiving, but I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm not gonna be too deterred by early reviews. I mean, that's how Justice League was. It got bad reviews, but I still watched it, and it was actually a lot better than the reviews said it was. I mean, it had its holes. It had its glaring plot holes. But I still watched it because I was a fan. Hey, I spent $7.50 to go watch Fantastic Four when everyone said how much of a piece of shit that was. That's how much of a fan I am of this shit. Even if people are telling me don't do it, don't go watch it, it's a piece of shit, I'm gonna go watch it because I'm a nerd. I like to, in a way, I'm a comic book apologist. Even if I say something sucks, I'll give it a compliment sandwich, like in Family Guy. I gotta say something nice, but at the same time, I'm also gonna say something not so nice. Like Suicide Squad. I think it's a piece of shit movie, but it had its bright spots. Will Smith. Will Smith is always good at those one-liners, and Batman appeared for like 2 minutes in it. So yeah, there you go. Tom Hardy, I'm a fan of his work. He's a good actor. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't sign on to something that's a piece of shit. He usually doesn't pick bad roles. So I mean, basically anyone that wants to see Venom, just go see it. Don't let these fools mess with you. And speaking of fools, this just came to my attention today. That supposedly fans of Lady Gaga are creating fake reviews on Twitter, so that way people would see her movie A Star Is Born. Or actually, you know what? Let me just read it, because even when I heard about this confused me. Lady Gaga fans accuse her of writing fake Venom reviews to support A Star Is Born. I'm on Variety.com. On October 5th, 2 films will premiere. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's A Star Is Born and Tom Hardy's Venom, despite the fact that A Star Is Born has already drummed up a significant hype, garnering a 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and awards buzz. Gaga's fan base is apparently taking it upon themselves to make sure the movie gets as much opening day attention as Venom. Once the social media embargo for Venom broke, following the superhero movie's red carpet premiere on Monday night, some Twitter users noticed negative reviews floating around Twitter, but it was noted that many of these critics use the exact same wording. Okay, I did not know that. I didn't read any of this before I pulled it up, so this should be interesting. I am the biggest Marvel fan, but I just watched Venom, and I don't know what to say. Easily the worst movie this year. I expected so much better, and I'm just disappointed. And they're not wrong. People are literally writing the same review. I'm the biggest Marvel fan, but I just watched Venom, and I don't know what to say. Easily the worst movie of the year. It was so much better, and I'm disappointed. Yeah, 3 people. Well, maybe that's not all of them. Wrote the same review, and then somebody. This person looks familiar. Somebody apparently retweeted it and said, okay, something is that the negativity around the Venom movie is looking very artificial. So, okay, wrong person. I'm clicking off. Okay. One tweet that seems to be copy and pasted is, blah, 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 blah. When reached by BuzzFeed, one of the accounts who shared a fake negative review of Venom told the outlet, "It's us GAGA fans creating fake IDs to trash Venom premiere. They both are getting released on the same day, so we want more audience for A Star Is Born." Okay, why? If that's the case, why? These are two very different movies, two very different genres. They're literally not even in the same neighborhood. One's a superhero movie, one's not. One's more than likely going to get Oscars, up the wazoo. One's going to make a lot of money. So I don't see why these Lady Gaga fans are going out of their way to trash Venom. So people are going to pay more attention to Lady Gaga, because poor Lady Gaga, she clearly she doesn't have enough attention. I clearly think that we haven't given her enough. I don't think she's rich enough. I don't think she has enough money or enough fans or enough cars or enough jewelry or enough of those weird meat dresses that she used to wear. No, Lady Gaga, we must save her from this evil Venom, from this evil Marvel Studios company. Oh my God, give me a break. All right, somebody wrote in here, "I saw Venom last night and had to leave halfway through. My children wouldn't stop crying how bad it was. Luckily, a second pre-screening of A Star Is Born was about to start, and now we are all crying tears of amazement. Please pray for my eldest. He is still in a coma." No. Yeah, I literally just read this right now. But yeah. Yeah, poor Lady Gaga. She clearly needs all the help she can get. But I don't know. I don't know why these Lady Gaga fans are just wasting their time. It's like, stick to your movie, let us stick to ours. It's just pathetic. But yeah. What else is going on in the news? Dark Phoenix, after having their first trailer for their movie last week, within 2 days gets pushed back. What is it, like 4 months later? Yeah. The movie was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, actually, for next year. However, the excitement quickly subsided just a day later when it was announced that Dark Phoenix would be pushed back for a second time. It was supposed to come out. It was actually supposed to come out next month. Technically, it was supposed to come out in November. Then it got pushed along with New Mutants. New Mutants will be out in August, I believe. So yeah, there you go. And then it got pushed back to February 14th. And they announced that they were doing reshoots. So I'm basically I'm just going to read what Simon Kinberg had to say. Director Simon Kinberg has revealed that there are plenty of reasons not to worry. While speaking to Collider, the filmmaker revealed that the date change is actually a good thing for Dark Phoenix, allowing more time for special effects to be finished and appealing to a global audience. And why isn't this fucking screen moving? Okay. Here's what I say. Some of the trailers had coming soon on them, and some of them had February 14th. Dude, I don't fucking care. This fucking video keeps popping up. I do not care. Kinberg began, it was a date, February 14th, that we initially liked for the movie, but then we realized that we weren't going to have the visual effects ready to release it globally the way we wanted to, and the Gambit date opened up because it wasn't going to be ready for that June 7th date. We looked at that date versus the February 14th date. The studio did, and we did, and we felt that the June date was a bigger opportunity for us globally, more screens, more IMAX screens, a better chance to play in China. With these movies have a massive following. What we found when we released that trailer was that 45 million views of the trailer were in China alone. Specific for us, it is an opportunity to be a bigger movie day and date globally. The trailer itself had the February 14th day attached to it, and Cameron notes that was probably not the best idea. In terms of the trailer release, it certainly probably shouldn't have said 214 on it, but the audience, and certainly I know this because I live online as much as anybody, people wanted to see something from the movie, and it was time to share something from the movie. So basically, because the Gambit movie that just seems like it's never gonna fucking happen, but you got bless Channing Tatum's heart, his beautiful hunky heart. He is trying to make this movie happen. And I gotta give him some respect. Like he's really trying to make this movie happen when it's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Partly because they can't find a director for it. And when they do find a director, he ends up dropping out. And so I don't even know who the director is now. I'll look that up right now, but I mean, I believe the first time that they had to push back was because Deadpool came out, because it was supposed to come out that year that Deadpool came out, and the way the story sounded was that they saw Deadpool and they went, oh fuck, we gotta get better. So they worked on the script some more, and then Logan came out. They're like, oh shit, we really gotta get better. So I mean, the way it sounds is more just like, we have to make this better. And at the same time seems more like a game of catch up. So let me see who is directing it this time, because I think they went through like 2 directors already. Doug Liman, is that it? Really? Come on. This computer's weird. Fuck it. I don't think they have a director. Yeah. Let's see. It was supposed to come out on that date that what's it called? That Dark Phoenix now has, which is June 4th or June 7th. I mean, now it's going to come out in March 13th of 2020. Channing Tatum, for whom the movie has been a passion project, is scheduled to star. For New Orleans film fans, though the Gambit film news is particularly noteworthy, given that the character is from New Orleans, superhero born here. Given that the character is a New Orleans-born superhero known for his ability, and that has been planning a local shoot, I keep saying Gambit, which has been in active development since 2014, has undergone repeated production delays with no fewer than 3 directors being attached to it. In May, however, producer Simon Kinberg said it will begin shooting by the end of the year. We have a script that we love, that Channing loves, Kinberg told Variety, with a bunch of directors in the last couple of weeks, and we were hoping to actually pick one in the next couple of weeks and shoot the movie, maybe by the end of the year. Yeah, 3 directors. Wow. You know what? I'm not saying I don't want to see this movie, because I love Gambit. Watching the X-Men cartoon, we all love Gambit. I still have a Gambit action figure. I don't know where the fuck it is. I probably tore it to shreds. I did not take care of my action figures. I didn't realize how valuable they would be. He's the one character that needs someone to do him justice. I mean, can it be Channing Tatum? Maybe. I mean, he has that star quality. He's very quippy. He can deliver one-liners. He can be serious. He can be funny, and he can also be a jackass. And next, so I think he can pull it off. It's one of those things where it's very disheartening to see this film constantly be pushed back. I mean, kudos to Channing Tatum for constantly staying, because a lot of actors would have just left this already. Because what's his name, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was supposed to do a Sandman movie. I don't know what happened. I think it got pushed back more than once, and then he just decided to leave. But Channing Tatum, this is something that should have came out, years ago. So like they said, it was supposed to film back in 2014, and 2014 was a long fucking time ago. I don't even remember what the fuck I was doing in 2014. But they, to his credit, he's been sticking with it. He's been committed, no matter how many times the film loses a director. They still have a script. They have a cast. It's him and some other chick. And Fox, they're supporting it. With this whole Fox and Disney merger, is that gonna be something good for them? Does that mean Kevin Feige gonna be like, we'll find you a director? Which I hope is the truth. So, as far as I don't know too much about Gambit comics though. I haven't really read any Gambit comics. So, how is the film? How is a Gambit standalone film gonna work though? That's the question. Because I think people were more familiar with Deadpool than they were with Gambit. Because with Deadpool, that's a film that you don't really have to read the comic to really understand. Read the comic to understand his personality, why he is who he is and why he's fucking nuts. But you can go in there with an open mind and enjoy the movie because it's a comedy. It can also be a romantic comedy. It's, a raunchy comedy. It got nominated for a Golden Globe. Ryan Reynolds got a Golden Globe nomination too for Best Comedy. So, that's a movie that, people can watch without having to be a comic book fan. With Gambit, my question is, they find a director, they finally get to, make the movie. How are you going to make it work? So, crazier things have happened, but all the respect in the world to Channing Tatum for sticking through. I hope the movie gets made. I hope they find a director that sticks to it. And I'm not a cynical person. I don't want anyone to be out of a job, except Baron Corbin. But I'm playing. But at the same time, it's just how many more directors do you have to keep losing to finally just say maybe this just isn't worth it. But it is what it is. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm 50-50 on a Gambit movie. But, again, all respect in the world to Channing. Some more comic book news. This was last week, I believe. The Birds of Prey movie, which will center around Harley Quinn, Huntress, Black Canary, and I believe Poison Ivy, I believe, is going to be in the movie. They have found their Huntress and their Black Canary. Huntress will be played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who, a lot of, movie geeks know her as Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and she was also in the Thing remake. And Black Canary will be played by, look at her name, Journey Smollett-Bell, who I'm trying to remember where the hell I saw her. She played the little girl of Michelle in Full House. No, the little girl who was Michelle's best friend in Full House. I think she was in the Gridiron Gang. That might have been it. Yeah, let me look at her. Because I know I've seen her in a lot of things. I just can't remember one. Alright, she was in Jack when she was a little kid. Eve's Bayou, Beautiful Joe, Gridiron Gang, Great Debaters. Hands of Stone. As far as shows, she was in Full House. She was in Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Martin. Friday Night Lights. She was in True Blood, Parenthood, some show called Underground, which I've never heard of. So yeah, she apparently won an NAACP award for Best Actress in The Great Debaters, which I didn't see that, but I heard it was good. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of online criticism from fans. The whole anytime you cast a non-white actor to play a white role, there's always going to be scrutiny with it, or vice versa. Yeah, at first I was a little like, okay, come on. Like if Black Canary, come on, why didn't you pick someone that was actually good for the role? Pick someone that can actually play this badass role. The way I saw it was okay. I kind of took a couple minutes to look at it and went, all right. Not a lot of people know who Black Canary is. I mean, if you watch Arrow, you know who Black Canary is. But then again, not a lot of people watch Arrow. A lot of fans of these superhero movies are kind of the casuals of the filthy casuals. Kind of like with wrestling, the filthy casuals will tune in and they'll see John Cena and they'll see Roman Reigns and they'll see Triple H and they'll be like, oh, those guys are pretty cool. For a role like this, it didn't get a lot of the criticism that say like a Ben Affleck getting cast as Batman. Batman is a major role; it's a major character. Black Canary is a very popular character, but it's not a major character. Not a lot of people know too much about it. So I mean, looking back at it, I'm fine with it. I'm on the mindset of if she can pull it off. Yeah, I've seen some fan art. She actually is like pretty fucking cool as Black Canary. So hey, for all I know, she'll knock her out of the park. And as far as like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I'm pretty stoked for that because again, she was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and now she's Huntress. Huntress is a pretty badass character. It's kind of like a who would I compare it to? I guess it's kind of like no. I'm not sure who I would compare it to. I need to give that some thought. But Huntress is a very badass character. She doesn't really get a lot of recognition, but she's a very badass character. And Winstead can pull it off. And from what I hear, she's pretty stoked about it too. So I mean, she was featured on Arrow for a bit, and I'm just reading this article on Gizmodo. Seals it undetermined according to Deadline who will play Renee Montoya, a Gotham City police detective, is apparently down to Justina Machado and Roberta Colindrez, though we've heard DC's Cassandra Cain could play a part as well. I have no idea. Who the hell is Cassandra Cain? The movie's going to come out February 7th, 2020. I like how DC is like, they're like always prepared ahead of time with their movies. Whereas Marvel, it's going to be like, okay, right before the movie comes out, we're going to show you this trailer already. So it's like, goddamn. I'm reading more into this movie. Here are the DC heroes joining Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey movie. Alright. Cassandra Cain held the Batgirl moniker for a while in the comics. Ooh. Renee Montoya, otherwise known as The Question. Okay. Follow-up to Robbie's time as Harley and Suicide Squad will be written by Christina Hodson and directed by Kathy Ann. Interesting. The film's villain will be a Batman rogue that has never been on the big screen before. Alright. This also is very intriguing. In recent days, I've begun to see the DC's universe expand in some exciting ways. Like Shazam, Moonfall Aquaman, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. Alright. I'm actually pretty interested in this because I know DC has been getting poo-pooed on, and deservedly so. Here's kind of my analysis as to why. You look at Marvel. Marvel was ahead of the game because they knew exactly what they were going to do in the beginning. With that first Iron Man, they knew it was going to be a hit. Either it was going to be really bad or it was going to be really good. Robert Downey Jr. either way was going to be the star of it, or it could have been a bad movie. But thankfully, 10 years later, it wasn't a bad movie. So, based on the success of that movie, and also that post-credit scene with Sam Jackson, introducing the Avengers or introducing the possibility of the Avengers, they knew what they were going to do right away after that movie became a success. With DC, it was more of a game of catch up rather than keep up. When after they were done with Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, a lot of people were in the assumption of is Christian Bale gonna be playing Batman from here on out? Is he gonna be a part of DC's new universe? Is he gonna be a part of the Justice League? Which ended up being no. And that was when they brought in Henry Cavill's Superman movie. And there was kind of like a hot rumor that Christian Bale was going to show up in the post credits and say, "Hey, I want to form the Justice League." Blah blah blah. But it ends up being that they cast Ben Affleck as Batman. So, and then Batman vs Superman happened, and Justice League happened, and the big gem that came out of that was Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was her own thing. She didn't really mention too much of what was going on in DC, except Bruce Wayne sending her pictures of Steve Trevor. So I think DC's kind of gotten in the mindset of like, maybe we should stop trying to keep up with Marvel and try and copy their formula of a shared universe, which I still think they're kind of doing, but they're just not doing it the way Marvel does, where it's like, hey, did you hear what happened in Gotham City? It's like, no, we're in the Amazon. We don't get fucking internet out here, you dipshit. But that was dumb. So they're kind of doing their whole thing of like, let's make standalone movies. Let's kind of keep the whole notion of, making a big team up movie for a while. Let's put that on the back burner and just focus on this formula and see if it works. It looks like it has potential. Aquaman's coming out in December. I'm not too sure how that's going to work. It just looks like the selling point for that movie is Jason Momoa is sexy. The only thing I know about him doing before Aquaman is Game of Thrones. And anything else he's done is shit. So, I like Jason Momoa. He seems like a cool dude. Seems like a nice guy. He's a good personality, but he's just not a very good actor. So, yeah. And then after that, Shazam. Shazam looks like it's going to be fun. It's, a superhero movie meets big. And, that'll appeal to kids. That'll be a fun movie because it's like, what kid does not want to be a superhero? Come on. If you had the ability to just say a name and be a superhero, would you? That looks like it'll be fun. I like Zachary Levi. He seems like a nice dude. I listened to him on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside of You. He's a very likable guy. He's been on the block for a while. On that, I'm looking forward to. I actually genuinely, out of all the DC shit that's coming out lately, I want to see that. What's next? And then Wonder Woman 84, which is coming out next year, which that's going to be pretty big. And then you got the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And then you have this Gotham City Sirens, which the rumor going around is that the villain might be Black Mask. So, yeah, the Joker movie I'll talk about for a bit. Every day when they release new behind-the-scenes footage, it makes me more interested to watch the movie. Because I'm not sure where it's going. It's supposed to be loosely based on Killing Joke, which Killing Joke is one of the greatest Batman comics of all time, probably the greatest. In my opinion, I actually like Hush better. I like both, but I like Hush. Joaquin Phoenix is a fucking amazing actor. He can play creepy, he can play manipulative, he can play intimidating. Everyone's thought process is, how are you going to make a Joker movie without Batman? Easy. The movie's set in the 80s. You have Thomas Wayne, who the idea for his character is that he's a corrupt politician. In past Batman stories, Thomas Wayne was this nice guy that tried to improve Gotham and did everything good and blah, 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 blah. But, there's always the idea of, like, what if Thomas Wayne was kind of a piece of shit? because he's a rich guy. Rich guys can kind of be pieces of shit. So when I heard this notion that he could be, this corrupt politician, I think back to the Batman Telltale games where, the twist in it was that his parents were, connected to, the people that were corrupt, and he tried to run Gotham and tried to, control Gotham, control the crime in Gotham. So I like that idea. I'm interested in it. So if there's a Thomas Wayne, there's a Bruce Wayne. I mean, in this timeline, he's going to be younger. He's going to be a little kid. So what if in the end of the movie, it's the Joker who kills Batman's parents? That I'll pop for. I'll fucking pop for that. Or someone kind of made this theory of like, what if Jared Leto is not the actual Joker? What if he's a copycat Joker? What if Joaquin Phoenix is the OG? And he's either dead or retired, and then Jared Leto took over as, the new Joker. Kind of like in, what's it called? In Batman Beyond, when they decide to have a Joker crew to honor the Joker. That I'm fucking interested in. That I would pay money to fucking see that shit. Either way, they still got my money. Joker apparently they're apparently making a Jared Leto Joker movie, which it's either that because they finished a script for a Joker in Hollywood. That I'd be interested in. If it's that, yeah. If it's a Joker and if it's just a Jared Leto Joker movie by himself, man. I mean, to be fair, he didn't really get a fair shake in Suicide Squad. I mean, the way they were promoting that fucking movie was that, it was going to be Suicide Squad versus the Joker, which would have been interesting. But they cut out, like, a shit ton of Jared Leto's scenes to where even Jared Leto was pissed off about it. So you only saw a Joker for, like, 5 minutes, and then that's it. So, I mean, I'll give him credit where credit is due. He wasn't in it that long to really give him a full analysis, but from what I saw, it was not that good. And then, Jared Leto, what's next for him is that he's going to be in... He's going to play Morbius the Living Vampire, which, there's Spider-Man diehards that grew up in the cartoon, that grew up in the comics. He is a Spider-Man villain. He's kind of like, he's in the same arena as Venom, where he's an anti-hero. He starts out as a villain, but then you realize he actually has a heart. He's doing what he does, for the woman he loves. Well, in the cartoons, at least. So, I mean... Jared Leto can act. I'm not saying he's a terrible actor. I mean, the dude has an Oscar. He can act. So, we'll see how Morbius turns out, which is supposed to be the next Sony Marvel thing that comes out after Venom. Yeah, heading back to DC, I'm interested to see how this new planet they have works out, where they focus more on the standalone movies, rather than, hey, let's make a big team-up movie every 3 years. Like, focus on that. Like, fix your universe first. Then, when the time is right, do a team-up movie. Yeah, it's really about it for all the comic book news. Where the fuck did I leave my phone at? Oh, fuck. It is somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Alright. So yeah, that's really about it for all the DC news I have, or the Marvel news I have. Before I get into my last bit of news for the show, which is basically my predictions for the whole Super Show down. That was simple. Super Showdown in Australia, which is this Saturday. If you live in the States like I do, it will be early. You have to wake up like at the ass crack of morning, which I probably won't do. I'll probably just wait later on in the day. I'm off that day, so I'll just probably wait later in the day and just watch it because I have to. I actually want to play this clip from last night's Raw, the Kevin Owens clip with him and Elias. They're in the ring. The show's in Seattle, and they make a reference to the Seattle Supersonics, one of my favorite teams. And that's kind of it's kind of a nerve. They kind of hit a nerve with the Seattle crowds. I'll play it. If you guys can hear it, awesome. I hope you guys can hear this.
We're both great guys. We're just a couple of great guys.
Yes. I'm glad you said it.
But you know what doesn't make sense? John Cena teaming with Bobby Lashley.
Kev, it doesn't make sense, you know? It's like having a basketball team in Seattle.
Listen to the roar of this crowd.
No respect for Detlef Shrimp.
Elias hit a sensitive button. Got Seattle right in the feelings.
That's what poets do.
Look.
Oklahoma City. Now I get that. The team here just doesn't make sense.
Well, clearly you've really upset them here, but sports aren't exactly my thing, so... Oh, you know what else isn't my thing?
Kev, you're going to have to speak up. These people are being
Oh my god.
I
I can hear it through here. Fuck. Alright. I'm gonna cut it off right there. Wow. I mean, alright, like it's not like he went out there and said, you know, I'm gonna kill a bunch of baby seals and then I'm gonna eat them or whatever. He went out in front of the Seattle crowd and just basically made fun of the fact that they don't have a basketball team anymore, which, again, that's a soft spot for them because, you know, Seattle fans, they were rabid about their basketball. Seattle fans are very rabid about their sports teams. You know, they love their Seahawks. Apparently, their soccer team fills up more in their stadium than the Seahawks. They love their baseball team. So, I mean, it was very simple. All you had to, you know, it was very simple, and it worked. Usually that's really the case. Just be simple. Don't go out there and, you know, and I know I'm not a wrestler. I don't work in the business. But don't go out there and cut these like 20-minute long wind promos where you're speaking like you're in a Shakespearean play and then talk about your childhood and why everyone is a piece of shit and blah, blah, blah. Just be simple. Find a pressure point and attack it. And that's what Elias did. That's what Kevin Owens did. And honestly, a lot of the guys back there who try to be heels, they need to learn more from these two. Kevin Owens is just naturally a heel. I mean, he's French Canadian, so he's naturally a douche. Which I love Kevin Owens, and you know he seems like a good dude in real life, and I would love to meet him. He seems like the type of guy you want to hang out with. But he's just naturally a heel. I don't think he can ever be a babyface. I mean, maybe a tweener, but we have too many of those. We have too many people that think that they're heels or faces, but they're really just tweeners. But they don't want to admit it. And Elias is just like, again, he just makes it simple. You know, he came here to San Antonio and made a Spurs joke, where he was just ragging on the Spurs, and you know everybody booed him, you know, for at least like a minute and a half. So again, that's just simple, you know, heel 101. That's basically all he needed to do to get a reaction on him, and it worked. It worked for the whole fucking segment until Bobby Lashley came out and just sucked the air out of the entire arena. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to play from that. As far as Raw, I didn't give two shits about the show. Dean Ambrose teasing that he's gonna leave the Shield, but that won't happen anytime soon. Anywho, I have the match card in front of me for Super Showdown, which will be at the Melbourne Cricket Ground in Melbourne, Australia. This Saturday. I will go through the matches and give my prediction. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. Keep it on Becky Lynch. Don't play hot potato with the belt, which I have a fear that they might do, because this company has a history of playing hot potato with the belt. I mean, personally, I think they should have let Becky win it at the women's pay-per-view. I mean, I'm glad I saw her win it here in San Antonio, but they really should have held on to it, because it's good to cash in on heat, but that was far too quick. You know what I mean? So, I mean, kind of, it was also a way to really build Charlotte Flair as a heel. I mean, you could have had her gone out there and been a chicken shit heel and find a chicken shit way to win the match, and gain more sympathy for Becky to make her look like Stone Cold, quote unquote, which I'm not saying that I think she is, but kind of give her that Stone Cold look. So, yeah, Becky's going to win it. She kind of has to. Don't play hot potato with the belt. Asuka and Naomi versus the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, or as I refer to them, the boner reducers anytime they come out and talk. Because Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are fucking gorgeous. But anytime they talk and anytime they cut a promo, I'm just like, ugh. Please stop talking. You're hot. All you have to do is exist. As far as this match goes, they're in Australia, so I would assume the Iconics are going to win. But then again, Asuka is like, she kind of needs anything she can get right now. She was built up as the female Goldberg, and then they fed her to two blondes. One of them being Charlotte, the other being Carmella twice. So Asuka and Naomi kind of should win this, but it makes more sense for the Iconics to win since they're in Australia. The New Day versus the Bar, same as Sheamus and Cesaro for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The New Day do not need belts. They're already over. They already sell merch. They do not need belts. If you're that over, you don't need a belt to prove it. I mean, there are certain people in this company that don't really need a belt. It's good to see them with the belt, but they don't really need it. Like AJ. AJ's over enough to not be champion. AJ can be in the mid card and he'll still be over more than most of the roster. Seth Rollins, he's over. He's over enough. He's the most over babyface on Raw. Daniel Bryan, same thing. He's over. I mean, again, his comeback hasn't been all that great, but he's still over with the crowd. Kevin Owens, as much as they've killed his career dead, he's still over with the fans. Braun Strowman is over. He doesn't really need a belt to be over. Come on. So, I mean, as far as this match goes, I would say give it to Cesaro and Sheamus, just because the New Day didn't really need this belt to begin with. I mean, they only really gave it to them because Eric Rowan got hurt. So yeah, there goes that match. Next match on the card, Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. I really like Cedric Alexander. I don't know anything about Buddy Murphy except for the fact that he's from Australia and he's banging Alexa Bliss. That's really all you know about him. He's engaged her, lucky bastard. So, I mean, basically, based on what I've seen about him, he's very in shape. He's very talented. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll win. I mean, Cedric Alexander, as much as I like him, he's kind of bland. He's bland as fuck. Just, not to say I think Buddy Murphy is lighting the world on fire, but I think it's time for a title change, in my opinion. So, yeah, Buddy Murphy, another Australian native, I think they need to give it to him. A.J. Styles versus Samoa Joe in a no count out, no disqualification match for the WWE Championship. There must be a winner. AJ's going to win. Going back to what I said, AJ's over even without a belt, but again, AJ kind of needs to carry this belt because who else is really going to carry it? I mean, I think the second guy, I think another guy who can really carry is The Miz. We'll get into that match later, but besides AJ Styles, I think The Miz can really carry SmackDown as the champion. That's about it. As much as like Samoa Joe, he can't really carry. I don't think he can carry the show by himself. I don't think he sells merch. Miz sells merch, AJ sells merch. That's why they're the top guys. And, Samoa Joe, continues to try and fuck AJ's wife. Which, I love AJ Styles, but his wife is, she's not ugly. She's just she's kind of an average-looking woman. I imagine she's a very nice woman. She seems like a good mother, a good wife. AJ loves her very much. But are you really trying to convince me that Samoa Joe wants to fuck AJ's wife? Come on. If it were him saying, I want to fuck Lana to Rusev, that would make sense. Or telling Mike Bennett, I want to fuck Maria, that would make sense. But you want to fuck AJ's wife? That's reminiscent of when DDP came in and wanted to stalk Undertaker's ex-wife, actually. Which was Sarah, which was like, really? I remember being like 12 years old, and going, so you want to fuck that bitch that has a fucking nose that covers her whole face? Really? I don't know. If it were like, it's like, dude, you used to be married to Kimberly Page, and you want to fuck that? Come on. Yeah, as far as the match goes, AJ's going to win. And then Samoa Joe, I don't know where the fuck he goes from here. Ooh, next match, the Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad. Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan. I don't know how Liv Morgan will be by this event. You kind of have to give it to Bella's and Ronda Rousey. As far as like the whole Brie Bella situation, I tried to get in it with Kev last week. I didn't really get to. I didn't have a chance to say what I had to say. Brie Bella needs to stay at home. She was never a good wrestler to begin with. I mean, Nikki is passable in the ring. They both suck, but Nikki is at least passable. And you never really heard too much about Nikki hurting people. I'm not to say that Brie was like standing in the back, rubbing her hands together, going, yes, I'm gonna knock out that blonde girl with my leg. Yeah. Again, I don't think there was any malice in her heart to do it, but it's like you've been back for like a month, and you can't do a suicide dive properly without getting tangled in the ropes. You knock out Liv because you weren't in sync with the crowd, or you didn't let the crowd get in sync with you, and you didn't let Liv get in sync with you. You didn't give her time to protect her face. And then you punch Ruby in the mouth, and in return, she gives you a receipt. What's more baffling to me is the fact that all these wrestlers are coming out and defending her. Kev, he had like a little Twitter back and forth with Corey Graves, which from what I saw was very friendly. It wasn't like, hey, fuck you. It was more just like, what's his name? Corey was kind of being Corey was being Corey on Twitter, and then Kev responded back with something. Corey, was being friendly. They're both being friendly with each other. From what I heard, they kind of run in the same groups. So, and then I just read this today. Literally right after Kevin got off Twitter, Goldust pops back in with, a lot of these wrestlers need to stick to eating their, or he said something along the lines of, you can't argue with these people, Corey. They just need to stick to eating their Hot Pockets and shut the fuck up. It's like, oh, are you serious? Why did you need to add that? These two were being friendly. They were being fine. They weren't arguing. They weren't in each other's necks. And then your old decrepit ass needs to fucking pop back in and leave this little fucking douchey comment. So I had Kevin's back. Not that he needed me to have his back. I mean, have you seen Kevin? Come on. And he needs me to have his back? I basically just said, dude, how is us having concern for other wrestlers' safety us being know-it-alls and acting like we know the business. I was worried about Liv because, again, that video is very gnarly to watch. Brie needs to just go home. She needs to stay at home with her kids. Daniel Bryan, to his credit, of course, that's his wife. You got to defend your girl, but come on. So, and I don't even know why I pulled this down. Hold on. He posted some very lengthy response about Brie Bella. Or about his wife, I mean. Basically, after Liv Morgan posted something on Twitter saying, oh, some injuries are going to keep me down, while she's conveniently posing in the bathroom, showing her nice little butt. I'm a guy, shut up, deal with it. He basically came out and said, I am proud of how strong my wife is. After accidentally injuring Liv Morgan last week, the first time Bree's ever hurt another performer. She's been subject to a constant barrage of social media attacks. Almost every wrestler has accidentally hurt someone. But rarely do you see this kind of hate when it happens. For example, I concussed Randy Orton in 2012 after hitting him with what was supposed to be a chair to the back. Unfortunately, part of the side hit him in the back of the head. He was forced to miss a pay-per-view. Despite all of that, never did I receive the backlash Brie did this week. With all the negative things said about my wife, nobody was harder on her than she was on herself. Thank you to the many people who reached out to support her, both publicly and privately. We will all wish Liv Morgan a happy recovery. The problem, Daniel... I'm not trying to start a beef with Daniel Bryan, I promise. The problem is that the quote-unquote apology that she released, it didn't seem generic. I mean, it didn't seem genuine. It just seemed like that, generic. It just seemed like somebody was telling her what to write, because she didn't like write something and go, you know what, I fucked up. I feel like shit. I don't know why I did that. I'm never gonna forgive myself. I feel terrible for Liv. She basically just came on and said, oh, shit happens. That was basically the equivalent of what she said in her tweet, basically saying, shit happens, people get hurt, A, B, C, and D. I mean, to her credit, she's apparently been apologizing to Liv Morgan all week, but that still doesn't change the fact that Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan want to beat the shit out of her, which they can't because the Bellas are like on like mafia level status. They can't be touched. And you see all these wrestlers, these male wrestlers coming out of the woodwork defending her. Daniel Bryan, of course, is going to defend her. But then you see guys like Hurricane Helms defending her, and Tommy Dreamer defending her, and whoever defending her. And of course, Seth Rollins has to be the creepy white knight that he likes to pretend that he is. I don't hate Brie Bella. She seems like a sweet person. I mean, between her and Nikki, she seems like the good one. She's a mom. She seems like a nice mom. Granted, she gave her kid a weird fucking name. She seems like a nice lady. I don't hate her. I know what she didn't have any malice. But she needs to stay home. She has no business in a wrestling ring. She needs to stay the fuck home. And the fact that WWE decided to turn down the volume and reduce all the boos is just fucking gross. Either make her a heel or send her the fuck home. Because this is fucking ridiculous. Anyways, the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. Yeah, the Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey won. It'd be nice if the Riot Squad won, but, there's a lot of things I wish would happen on the show. Anyways, next match, The Shield versus Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre for the 8 millionth time. I would think Braun Strowman and Dolph Ziggler are going to win. The rumor is that the next male pay-per-view. Well, there is going to be a male. The first American pay-per-view after the women's pay-per-view and after the Crystal Gem, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, is fuck, I'm messing up my facts tonight. There's Survivor Series and there's going to be TLC. TLC, the rumor is that it's going to be a TLC match, The Shield versus the Dogs of War. I think that's what their name is. Yeah, I think Braun Strowman and Ziggler are going to win. They're teasing that, Drew McIntyre. They're teasing that Dean Ambrose is possibly going to be a heel. I mean, it seems too obvious at this moment. I mean, you might as well, I guess, save the surprise. Or maybe WWE will think making Seth Rollins a heel again will work. Because it works so much the first fucking time. Yeah. Braun Strowman's always going to win. McIntyre going to win. I really have nothing else to say about this match. Moving on. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. A number one contender match for the WWE Championship. I want The Miz to win, but I have a feeling Daniel Bryan's going to win. Solely on the fact that The Miz has won the last 2 matches. So that way WWE can say, oh, it's Daniel Bryan versus A.J. Styles for the first time ever in life. I don't know when that match is going to be. I would assume it's going to be at that Saudi Arabian pay-per-view. Or maybe at Survivor Series, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a good match, but I would rather see Miz and AJ Styles. I've been very sour on this Daniel Bryan return. I mean, granted, he hasn't really had much to work with since coming back. I mean, this Miz feud has been good, but personally, they should have waited till Mania. The talk is that they're going to wrestle again at Mania, wrestle again at WrestleMania. The way it looks, Daniel Bryan wins, and he becomes champion, holds it till Mania, and fights Miz for the title, and Miz, I guess, wins it. Or, this is the idea you can do. Miz wins, or... I'm having so many ideas in my head, just all at once. Miz cheats the win, and he goes on to face AJ, and then Daniel Bryan does the whole, well, gee, golly gosh, Miz, you cheated. That wasn't right. And then Paige comes out, I'm going to make this match a triple threat match for the WWE title. I never said I was good at accents, okay? And then you have the Miz win, and then you continue the feud with him and AJ. He holds the title till Mania. And then Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. Goes on to face Miz, wins the title. That's pretty much your main event at WrestleMania. Well, anything with Roman Reigns will probably be their main event. So yeah, I want the Miz to win, but Daniel Bryan's probably going to win. Next match, Bobby Lashley and John Cena versus Elias and Kevin Owens. Again, another case of who I want to win or who I think is going to win. I want Elias and Kevin Owens to win because I love Elias. Elias has been someone that has made everyone eat crow because his original gimmick, the Drifter, was just, god-awful. It made zero fucking sense. And then they just turned him into that typical douche that you see at college campuses playing a guitar in front of a tree. And it works because Elias is charismatic. He can talk. He obviously knows how to generate heel heat, and he can have a pretty good match. And it also helps that he looks like a fucking brick shithouse. I mean, he has a pretty mean elbow drop, which it's crazy how much he looks like Macho Man. It's just nuts. And I love Kevin Owens regardless of what they do with him. I love Kevin Owens, and this tandem of him and Elias, I think it works. John Cena, who suddenly has hair overnight, which he's been using hair plug, which that's not a detriment to him. I would never make fun of anyone that wants to get hair plugs. The dude's in his 40s. He was losing his hair before. He looked like a gym teacher. He looked like an old gym teacher. And he decided to go get hair plugs. You know why? Because he has fucking money. If you have the money to get hair plugs, get fucking hair plugs. I'm not going to make fun of you for it. I don't give a shit. Hell, I wouldn't mind having a full head of hair. Shit, if I had money to get, liposuction, I will. Not that I'm obese. I just like tacos too much. And then Bobby Lashley, which he's just... It's good that they're having this Eli, whatever the fuck his name is, as his manager. What the fuck is his name? Leo Rush. There you go. Leo Rush, who looks like a mini Usher. The singer Usher, not an actual Usher. They didn't make Bobby Lashley a heel. Because this Leo Rush guy, the way he talks, the way he presents himself, he is naturally a heel. He is too cocky, he is too annoying to be a face. Make Bobby Lashley a heel. Make him a guy that goes out there and just beats the shit out of everyone. Maybe him feud with John Cena could work. So yeah. Elias and KO want to win, but Cena and Lashley are probably going to win. Main event time. Main event time. Triple H with Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker and Kane. The last time you will ever see these two wrestle. Will it be though? Until the next pay-per-view. I just give it to Triple H. I mean, Undertaker, as much as I love Undertaker and respect him, respect everything he's done, the dude can't walk. He can't really walk to the ring that well. You know, in Triple H, he can still go. He can still move. You know, he's the game. But, you know, the Undertaker, again, he just give Triple H this win. Come on. And then the rumor is that at the next Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, it's going to be Shawn Michaels making his return to the ring. Him and Triple H versus Undertaker and Kane. Shawn Michaels is now bald. He is now bald as a cue ball. Him and Triple H look like twinsies. And then the other rumor is that Shawn Michaels is going to face The Undertaker at Survivor Series. I love Shawn Michaels. San Antonio guy. I support my San Antonians. I support my Texans in general. I always love Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, in my opinion, the greatest in-ring performer of all time. Just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Don't cut my head off if you don't agree with it. Don't cut my head off if I don't say that Kenny Omega and Cody Christ are like the Angels of Wrestling. That sounds like a really cool tag team name, by the way. Angels of Wrestling. I'm keeping that, by the way. Nobody steal that. But yeah, it's Shawn Michaels. He's 53. I don't know how well he moves in the ring now. I mean, when he came out at WrestleMania in 2016, I mean, he's obviously in very good shape. He keeps himself in good shape. He looks like he can maybe come back for a few matches, but nobody wants to see Grandpa wrestle. Come on. I mean, I don't blame him for coming back because they're throwing like an ass ton of money at him, but I don't know how this is going to work because the way the business is now, it's that, and Kevin Nash kind of made an interesting point where he basically pointed out that nobody really cares about the young guys anymore. He was more invested in that Triple H and Undertaker package, whereas like anything else is like seems like kind of a snooze fest to him. And in some ways, I kind of agree and I don't agree. Like, the company obviously has no faith in the younger stars. And I can kind of see why. Because the only guys in the company that seem like they're actually committed are AJ, Seth to a degree. Actually, AJ's not a young guy, but guys who aren't like those high-profile dudes. Like AJ, AJ's a top guy. He's very committed. The Miz is very committed. The Miz, doesn't get the respect he deserves. And that's really about it. AJ and The Miz, those are the only two guys in this company that are committed. Roman to me is not committed. Roman to me just seems like he phones it in a lot. Because he's the big dog and he's, the company's never going to turn him into a heel. The company's never going to acknowledge that he's been a failure as a babyface. And I think he kind of realizes that, so he phones it in a lot. He doesn't really try, in my opinion. Seth Rollins he's the most over babyface on Raw, but again, he works his ass off, but I don't see him as a guy that could really carry the Raw brand by itself, in my opinion. And you got Dean Ambrose, who they tried it with him, but it failed. I mean, granted, they were doing the whole wacky Dean gimmick, but he's back now. He's more of a badass, but again, he's not a guy that I can see carry a brand or a company by itself, for that matter. So that's why you see them resorting to, hey, let's bring back whoever we can. Let's dig up whoever we can. The last guy they did it was with Goldberg, and that it worked, and it worked. I'll admit, in some aspects, it kind of worked because when he came back, the whole building was cheering for him, and I don't even think Goldberg, anticipated that. So he beat Brock Lesnar, and then they decided to, keep with it. They had him, win the title from Kevin Owens, which to me was a bad idea. and then drop it to Brock at Mania. They're obviously going to do something with Kurt Angle when he comes back. They're going to make him a full-time wrestler. I can already see that happening. And, Kurt still has a lot left in the tank, but I mean, at this point, I don't really want to see Kurt wrestle. And then they're bringing back Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, I saw him at All In, and he can still fucking go. You put him on SmackDown, have him feud against... I can already see him feuding against Almas. That's the way it goes. Or have him feud against Nakamura and take that title, which another guy's been fucking phoning in, Nakamura. Oh my fucking god. Ever since he's been on the main roster, he's only had one good match. And that's with John Cena. And that's it. He's been phoning it in. And I would not be surprised if he decides to leave. Or I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to stay because they're paying him more. So, there you go. Money talks, bullshit walks. But yeah, they're dusting off all these old guys because it just seems like a lot of these younger guys I don't think they're that committed. It just seems like they're either too lazy or they're either too lazy or they're not creative enough. Kevin Owens is not lazy. Kevin Owens is very creative. They don't seem to know what to do with him half the time. So that's why they make him look like a giant puss and feed him to Braun. Braun, another guy who's over, put a title on him. Maybe he can carry the Raw brand by itself. I mean, he looks believable enough. They kept the title on Brock that long because Brock sells merch. He sells tickets. He looks believable. Everyone other than that, nobody else in the company can really, I don't think, can carry a brand by themselves. So, I get why they're bringing these guys back. I mean, because the rumor is that they want to bring The Rock back and possibly make him the champion again, or have him wrestle Roman Reigns at the next WrestleMania for the title. Which, that is gonna... Oof. You already had John Cena make Roman look like an idiot with those promos. Imagine what The Rock's gonna do. The Rock will fucking kill Roman. He will kill him 5 times before he hits the ground. If you're trying to make Roman look sympathetic against The Rock, good luck. Good luck. Like, the Rock can come back and cut a promo and still own the place. Oh, boy. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I have for tonight. We're already at an hour and 17 minutes. That's the most I've talked by myself for a while. Yeah, this show, I'm not going to watch it live, probably. I mean, who knows? Actually, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think it comes on at 6 here. And the girlfriend works early that day, so I won't be able to watch it live. I'll definitely watch it later in the day when it comes out. Which, I mean, their pay-per-views, once they finish, you can just replay it. So yeah, I'll definitely watch it. I'll review it next Tuesday. As far as next Tuesday goes, I'm interested in doing like a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, whether it's about wrestling, comic books, anything, just ask me. Leave it on my Twitter. You can also leave it on Facebook too. I will read it on the show. I will answer it to the best of my abilities. I don't know when I'm gonna have another guest on. When I do, you guys will be the first to know. I will edit the show later. As usual, you will hear it every Wednesday. Shows every Wednesday, and then sometimes a second show every other Friday or whenever. Again, you guys will be the first to know. I might be doing something this Thursday with a friend of mine. She'll be new to the show. Her name is Jess. So you guys might hear another episode this week. As far as this show goes, Spreaker, that's the home base. Anywhere else you can hear podcasts, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Castbox, iHeartRadio, YouTube. I also post the podcast on YouTube. Twitter, Drew Yari Show, Facebook, same thing. What else am I missing? I'll be seeing Venom this Friday. So maybe next Tuesday I'll do a little Venom review show. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Take care.